Number to call in today is 260-422-3902 for all of our guests out there who are regular viewers. We have slews of them, and they keep multiplying. Isn't that wonderful?
Great.
Yeah. So what we talked about a little bit this was 2009 when we pre-recorded 2 episodes of TV Angels Talk in our soul relationship.
Okay.
And before I talk more about that, I just want everyone out there to know that you are a living answer to my prayer. Yeah.
Okay.
Your appearance here today. I prayed. I said, okay, who's next on the show? Because our lovely Rusty Piazza is celebrating his son's birthday today. And I said, Spirit, you know for the highest good of the planet who needs to be on this show. So reveal that. And guess what? 5:30 Wednesday morning, you showed up.
Well, I'm in town, speaking at the Unity Church here in Fort Wayne.
Yes.
So
You're speaking when?
Speaking tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon.
That's Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah. What time in the morning?
I think the service is...
Like 10:30 in the morning?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the normal service there at the center.
Yeah, 10:30 in the morning. I'll speak at the service, and then I do my holistic health and spiritual healing lecture workshop at 1 o'clock.
And what's that going to be like?
Well, it's empowering. There's miracles.
Miracles.
I work on volunteers during the workshop.
Wow.
But during the holistic health, people are constantly writing down all these little tidbits of information about eating better, detoxifying, get more energy, learning how to heal yourself. So people actually will have a need of doctors much less, maybe because they'll be doing their part.
That's a great question that spurs my mind.
Well, 90% of health is lifestyle.
Okay.
So the problem is most people don't know what their responsibility is. Mm-hmm. So the Edgar Cayce Association said my holistic health lecture was the best they ever heard.
Yes.
Even though I said most of it I learned from them, but they said, yeah, but you simplified it. Well, I don't like complicated. So I've heard things over the years, and I try to say, how do we make this simpler? How do we make it more that people can relate to it, figure out how they can do this in their own life?
Okay, so before we go any further, let's educate everyone a little bit about your background and how you, as a conduit, assist this to happen.
Well, I've been a chiropractor for over 40 years.
Yes.
I started lecturing on holistic health in 1977. Mm-hmm. I've been a bodybuilder since I was 10 years old. And I record my dreams. I've recorded over 18,000 of my own dreams. The spiritual healing that I do started with a dream. So in 1981, I had a dream that I was in a church, came out of the church, there was a gate with a lock on it. I made the sign of the cross and said, in the name of the Christ, and the gate opened. And then a voice said, we have Christ in our midst. And I said, no, I'm no one. I'm here to help him manifest the Christ. Well, with that initial dream, I didn't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Especially because I was brought up Jewish. And at the time, I was calling myself an advanced atheist because I didn't believe in spiritual things.
Oh.
But anyway, I got curious, what was this all about? And in a short period of time, someone said to me, well, why don't I test it? Mm-hmm. So I'm not thinking anything would happen. They said, look, you're a chiropractor. Why don't you see if this can do something? So I checked the person's spine, checked their leg length. One leg was about an inch shorter, made the sign of the cross and said, in the name of the Christ, and their spine lined up. Well, that's how the healing started. And I said, okay, initially I thought I better not tell this to anybody.
Yeah.
Because I thought I'd lose all my credibility. Yeah. But I got curious.
Sure.
Was this a one-time thing? Could it be repeated? Mm-hmm. So from 1981 to 1992, I kept on testing it. Finally.
In how so? In all different areas? Or?
Well, it was the spine, it was other things, it was with friends, but I still didn't feel really comfortable to go public with it.
Okay.
Finally, after 12 years of saying, God, leave me alone, I finally said, God, you win. I gave away the clinic, started lecturing at Unity and religious science churches, And now I've spoken at over 300 Unity and Religious Science churches all around the world.
Cheers.
So, and the fact that I'm a bodybuilder, a lot of times that helps relate to the audience, because they want to say, can the information I present in holistic health, can it be applicable? And I said, well, I'm going to be 70 soon. For the last 3 days, I was at the gym 5 hours a day. So my energy seems to keep on getting stronger. And it's just saying to people, yeah, if you do the 90%, which holistic health says 90% is based on lifestyle, you should have a much less need for a doctor to help you, because you're going to be doing the basics.
Wow.
Doctor should be there for emergency when you have already done everything and you have a bad cut, you have a broken bone, something is malfunctioning. And we got to figure out, how do we get the body stabilized until we can get the body functioning again? So that's what I share in my holistic health lecture tomorrow, part 1. Then part 2, I say, look, if you're still doing everything, you still got a problem, let me show you what God can do to help you out. And that's where we see all these miraculous, responses.
And that's why I opened the phone lines today for people to call in, because, there isn't a person on this planet that doesn't need some kind of healing.
Yeah, and half the healing work I do is over the phone.
Really?
Half the cases in the Book of Miracles occurred long distance.
Oh,
Even with
I
working,
misremembered that.
even with working with pro athletes and the coach, they call for it on the phone a lot of times, and I do the healing.
So before we go any further, I just want to remind everyone out there, our callers, the number today is 260-422-3902. If you're afraid, it's okay. Pick up the phone, dial it, take a step, let your wings fly. Give us a call, right?
Yeah, and you've heard about the crisis with the opioid epidemic.
Yes.
One of the things I've worked with healing is addictions. So
Let's talk about that.
In my new book, there's a chapter on healing addictions. I remember the first time I worked with a person who said they were embarrassed to tell me they were addicted to cocaine. And this was a medical doctor.
Oh.
Anyway, she asked for healing with that. I did the healing. And when she got back to me, she said it was very unusual, because she knew the medical model of withdrawal. But she said there wasn't any withdrawal. It was like someone had turned the switch to off, and all the craving was gone. That was it. And I've had people write back, a similar response with marijuana addiction, alcohol addiction, nicotine addiction. But like I said, when I work with people, all I need is permission and awareness.
Well, I'm going to say this again. There's 3 reasons why you're here today, and every one of those I personally have prayed and asked for. So within this hour, and maybe in the very near future, not maybe, because I am vulnerable. I know that when I heal, everyone out there heals, because we're never alone.
Well, there's a statement in the Course in Miracles, you can't but give to yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when you help others heal, you heal.
No matter what that is.
Well, it's just when people said, why do I do what I do? And I said, I feel like God's patting me on the back saying, well done.
Oh, yes. Yes,
So
yes.
I have to do it.
It's a must.
Yeah.
It's our mission. It's our calling.
And the fact that I have great health, and I'll be 70 soon.
Yeah, you look fabulous. You look whole, healed, and complete.
Well, I mean, like I said, when I'm working out at, I can do a little plug here for Planet Fitness.
Okay.
I work out Planet Fitness all around the country because, I have my travel pass. And I have a lot of teenagers say, you're kind of muscular for an old guy.
Oh, yeah? Let me see your muscles. No, I didn't mean to embarrass you, but really.
But I said it's based on, bodybuilding is 80% what you eat. And unfortunately, most people don't know how to eat right. Most people eat because it tastes good.
Or because they have to.
Yeah, and I
They
said,
have to put something in their
how about
body.
eating something that tastes good and is also good for you? And another piece of the puzzle was the double E diet, which, just like my book, The Big or Little Book of Miracles, the double E diet is also up there free on smashwords.com. You just enter my name, and the double E diet is the easy elimination diet.
Yeah, you're full of information, aren't
Well,
you?
that's just it. It's like I said, it's little tidbits on what people can do to stay healthy for life. I mean, I love that statement that I once heard many, many years ago. Moses went up the mountain at 120 years of age, filled with vigor. It's my belief we can be filled with vigor our entire life. But we got to do our part. So that's what I'm trying to do, is empower people. Here's the 90% what you need to be doing. Find a way to incorporate it into your life.
So what about you being a conscious conduit? How does that work with all of this?
Meaning that all they have to do is say, I want some healing. They don't have to believe.
Healing.
They don't have to believe.
They don't have to believe?
No, I have skeptics call me all the time. There are a lot of the pro athletes, when I first worked on them, they said, I don't believe in that. But then when some of the other players said how much better they felt, then they said, I want some of that. So conscious participation means they say, yes, I'd like some healing, even though I don't believe it. They know when it's being done, and they're willing to participate. That's all I need. And actually, a lot of these initial skeptics were some of my biggest fans. Because then they've told others, hey, you need to contact this guy. You need to see him in person or on the phone. And this is the response I had. My pain is decreased, or my arthritic joints, I'm feeling so much better. Or my fibromyalgia, a lot of the pain's gone.
And those, not to interrupt, those people that are skeptics would be testing you.
Right.
Or testing the experience, or testing the moment, right?
Well, and I tell them, look, 50% of the people I work with, when I'm doing the healing and God's working through me, 50% sense something right away. Heat, tingling, a sense of peace.
A relief.
A sense of love, a wave sensation. 50% sense nothing at the time. But usually about 90% notice in the first 24 hours after the healing that the symptoms are diminished or gone. So whatever the person is allowing themselves to receive usually manifests very, very fast. And a concept of spiritual healing, if you can respond with some things with spiritual healing, it means you're receptive. And if you can respond with some things, you can respond with all things. Because I'm not doing the healing. God is, and God's not holding back. So
do you think that's how it was with Jesus, too?
Well,
that when that woman reached out to touch her, his robe?
Because he even said something went out.
Yes.
Well, the healing is, if you got the gift of healing, the healing is flowing through you.
Okay.
So, I've had people sit behind me at church and say, oh, thanks for the healing. And I said, what healing? Oh, I'm sitting next to you and I feel better. It's already happening. One of the dreams in my dream book on the chapter on healing says the minute I enter a room, the electromagnetic waves are already changing. So when you have the gift of healing, it's already happening. But participation and awareness is helpful.
It's almost like we sometimes can't, for me, there's no words to describe or to communicate how it happened, when it happened, what happened.
Okay. Well, that's why, like I said, when I see people either in person or on the phone, what I tell them is, look, if you have a lot of things you'd like healing for, try to focus on your top 3 things. The simpler you describe it, the better. But then I'm going to check everything. I think Spirit wants us to participate so we're more receptive. But Spirit says we'll take it from there. So what I had to learn as a spiritual healer is, number 1, release preconceived concepts, because preconceived concepts get in the way. And number 2, which is very hard for a lot of health professionals, release the answer.
Oh.
I don't know enough to tell Spirit what the answer should be. So if a person calls and says, I want you to heal my cancer, I said, no, I can do what healing to whatever I pick up needs healing. I can't tell Spirit what the answer should be. I don't know enough. I can't judge. But that's what spiritual healing is. You're putting it in God's hands for the highest and best for all concerned.
Well, for those people out there that just came back live on the Facebook, unfortunately, I don't have the number on there, but I'm going to tell you what it is from me to you. Huh? It just stopped again. When it comes back on, we'll cut in and tell them again the number. Sure. Because I really would like somebody who is out there, tapped in and connected here, to call us.
Okay. Well, like I said, most people, they'll call me or they'll email me and they said, I heard about you, or someone gave me the Little Book of Miracles, or a friend of mine heard you speak at a Unity or Religious Science church. could you work with me? And, you know, I tell them, look, I'll work with everybody. And I even work with animals.
You work with animals?
Oh, we had numerous dramatic healings with animals. Just a couple of months ago,
really?
we had a lady who, her horse, she said she thought was dying.
Okay.
It was coughing. They didn't know if it would live through the night. Fortunately, I still had my phone on. I usually shut my phone off at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So she texted me, is your phone still on? My horse, I don't know if he's going to live the night. Of course, with animals, I work through the owner. The owner is where we get the conscious awareness. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I said, yes, my phone is on. Give me your number. I called her. What's going on? She told me the problem. I did the healing. 30 minutes later, she texted me, horse is fine.
Wow, animal healing.
So,
you know, I don't know about anybody else, but I love my animals.
yeah, I'll give you an example.
Love them.
Dramatic case that happened in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
A lady carries in 3 different dogs. Mm-hmm. One's got cataracts, can't see, bumping into the wall. Another dog she goes back to the car and brings in has COPD, has trouble walking, can't breathe. And the third one had an arthritic hip. Every movement created a whelp of pain.
Ooh.
So I worked on all 3 dogs. The next day she comes up to the church and says, this is what just happened. I was at the park. The dog with cataracts is catching a Frisbee. The dog with COPD is running around the other dog. And the dog with the arthritic hip is running around the other 2 dogs like no pain at all. And the punchline,
Wow.
the punchline was, she was brought up an atheist.
Oh.
And after seeing God heal these 3 dogs, she says she now feels reconnected to God. So yeah, when family says, why don't you retire and just do nothing, and I go, listen to some of these letters I get from people.
Yeah.
How can I not do this?
Yeah.
And the fact that God has blessed me with so much energy, and I love it. So why should I stop?
Yeah.
I just said, I'm going to make myself available to people, either lecturing or doing healing, as long as I'm around.
I want to make us both more available to everyone out there on the Facebook. If you are experiencing difficulties here, I would like you to jump up on your net, key in Access, ACCESS TV, Fort Wayne, Indiana. When that page comes up, I want you to click on Channel 2 so you don't get any more dropouts. And also, pick up your pen. The number's 260-422-3902. So yeah. So guess what?
Okay.
We have our first phone call of the day, and on the hotline, and we're going to go ahead and take it. How's that?
Sure.
Okay. Hello, caller.
Hello, this is AJ.
Hey, AJ.
Doctor, I'm just wondering, do you think, how do you think attitude enters into this? I have a sick relative, and he is very negative and very depressed about the whole thing. Do you think a positive attitude might help people when they're trying to get through an illness?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like, a lot of times I tell people, if you can get a person to start laughing, it changes their whole receptivity. So their attitude, laughing, the body releases endorphins. They become a lot more receptive to be healed. So the opposite is true. If you have a very poor attitude, you're shutting down. Mm-hmm. Now, how to change a person's attitude? I mean, I got to have participation from people. So if they're willing to participate, the healing I do, it's physical, it's emotional. It can be to help them, think more positive about life, but I need that permission and awareness. But attitude can be a big one.
All right, thanks. I think actually his outlook is excellent, but he just doesn't seem to see it right now, I suppose. I'll listen off air now.
Okay.
Thank you so much for calling, AJ. I was gently reminded as you were answering that question about attitude. I want to give a shout out to my high school reunion because they are the spirits of 76. And you talk about attitudes. I was just gently reminded when you were talking, when he asked that question about attitudes, I'm like, these are kids, these are people my age that they're so highly attitudinal. It makes such a difference in our world. So I can see why he would ask that question. That was a perfect question to ask.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny about our concept about things.
Yeah.
I grew up being very, very puny and skinny growing up in an inner city ghetto in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I found an axle in the street at age 10, dragged it home, and I said I was going to change my body. I wanted to be a weightlifter.
You found an axle? What kind of axle?
It was
a car axle?
It was an abandoned axle that had gears on one side.
Oh, a vehicle axle.
Some kind of axle.
Okay.
It weighed 42 pounds.
Okay.
That was my first weight set.
Yeah.
So I started working out with that at age 10, not knowing what I was doing, where it was heading. My 4 brothers said it was absurd. I was too puny to be a weightlifter, but I never gave up. So very little happened in 3 years, 6 years, 9 years, never gave up. Finally got a weight set of my own, started adding weights to it. 11 years after I started, I tied the Louisiana record in the bench press of 340 pounds while weighing only 147. And 18 years after I started placing in physique contests and placed in the Southern USA, Greater Mr. Arkansas, and Mr. Louisiana.
Who would ever think?
So it's just
Wow.
keep on doing it. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not getting that immediate response, never give up.
Change our mind, change our time,
Well,
like
it's just
Lauren
good.
Lane Powell said today.
You know, do your part.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing happened in track. I went off of track in 8th grade.
Okay.
And the tryouts back then was the 100-yard dash. So I tried out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On Monday, the guy said, the coach, he said, Shaye, you're too slow. I showed up again Tuesday. He says, Shaye, you're too slow. Every day I showed up, he said the same thing. On Friday, he says, you know what? I think you're willing to work out, so let's take you on the team. I was captain next year. And I eventually got a track scholarship to college.
Okay. So is your work more about conditioning people to heal or that instant healing as well?
It's both.
Is it both?
Oh. That's why I lecture on holistic health
Yeah.
first in my presentation and then on spiritual healing. I say, first, let me tell you what your responsibility is. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you what you can do. Let me tell you what I do. I don't lecture on it. If I don't do it, I don't lecture on it. So everything I share in my lectures, I do. So I share about how I eat and keep the same weight now for the last 40 years, how I keep my weight, how I keep my energy high, what I do to detoxify. I share all these things in the presentation. But then I tell people, if you're still stuck,
Right,
let
that
me
was
show
my
you
question. That was my next
Let me show you
question.
what God can do to help you get unstuck.
Okay. Okay. So, for instance, I'm just going to paint a picture. An individual who has dizziness,
Sure.
eye problems, thyroid problems. So all of these people go to different doctors for these different things, and those doctors have different suggestions or perspectives. How would that be treated? I mean, where do you go with that?
Well, first of all, like I said, I tell people, if you've got a lot of things, pick your top 3 things. So when I do healing, I let people say their top 3 things. So there could be dizziness.
Yeah.
There could be eye problems. There could be pain. But I check everything.
Okay.
So I check the
That's in a private private.
a private healing session.
Okay.
So, I mean, I check the immune system. I check the spine, the nervous system, the blood, the circulation, blood vessels, organs, endocrine glands, hormonal system, emotional body.
So, but you're not a chiropractor now.
I let spirit do it for me.
Oh, right.
This is spiritual healing.
Oh, this is spiritual healing.
So when I balance the spine, I don't do it as a chiropractor with a hand manipulating the joint.
Okay.
I let spirit balance that spine with me with spiritual healing.
Ah.
And actually, you know, with my coaches and players that I work with, it works much better than anything I can do physically. But like I said, so no matter what the 3 things are, I say, look, I'm going to do the healing. Let's see if we get a response with these things. But then I try to say, what are you doing?
Okay. Right.
Because I have people say, Doc, I'd like some healing. And I say, well, how's your diet? Oh, it's terrible. Okay. Do you exercise? Oh, I don't have time for that. Okay. Do you ever detox? Oh, I don't believe in that. Okay. What I tell them is, I'm not surprised you have health problems. I'm surprised you're alive.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing your part.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I try to give people information, things that they can apply in their lives right now, but we might start off with the healing. But what did Jesus tell people that we know of? He said, go and sin no more, meaning change your thoughts, change your actions, don't duplicate the problem. So yeah, if I do healing and all of a sudden their ringing in their ears stops, or their dizziness stops, I also want to empower them to start taking charge of their life.
And don't give their power away, maybe.
Right. So, in other words, rather than rely on a medication to control your pain, or a medication to control your dizziness, how about improving your diet? How about starting to exercise? How about detoxifying? How about reading books on self-empowerment and positive thinking? How about having prayer time and meditation time daily?
Yeah.
And gradually take charge of your life again. Because my concept is, I don't want to be people's personal spiritual healer for life.
Right.
I want to empower them to take charge of their life. And if they run into a problem, okay, give me a call. Let's see if we can help you out.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't want the responsibility of fixing their life.
Right. And that's the same with meditation.
I want
People
them
have
to
do
fix
that.
their life.
Right. Okay.
But if they're stuck, I want to help them get unstuck.
Okay. So, how much time do we have left, folks? I'd like to know how much time we have.
Too.
Because I want to know how much time a personal visit with you would take for our callers out there. We only have 25 minutes. So how long does a personal time with you take?
When I do a healing?
Yeah.
Well, when I do healing on the phone, it's usually less than 10 minutes because I usually write down their name, their address, and their top 3 things.
Okay. If you out there who are watching would like a personal healing, call us on the phone right now. We'll take your name and your address and your phone number, and Dr. Saul will call you back.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
Well, we'll do a test, see how many people can call in today.
Okay.
We'll just do this test, see how many people will call in today. And let's reiterate this so everyone on Facebook who just came back on again. If someone out there watching would like a personal session with you today, we want their name, their address, and their phone number, but you have to call in to this number at 260-422-3902. How much does something like this cost?
When I do it over the phone, the recommended charge is $30, even though I don't bill anybody.
You don't bill anybody?
No, I just tell them this is the recommended charge. 99% send it in and tell a friend.
Tell a friend. They send it in and tell a friend. So then it has a rippling effect.
Almost everything I do is referral.
That is why our TV Angels Talk programs got exceeded more hits than any program that I've ever featured through Access.
Also, I tell people, I had an email from someone in the UK that said they played my healing DVD on YouTube for an abscessed tooth that had a lot of pain, and they said overnight all the pain was gone. And at first I thought that can't be because I didn't put anything up on YouTube.
Right.
But then I went on YouTube and someone had put my healing DVD up there. So I said, look, with spiritual healing, the more direct, the better. So one-on-one in person is number 1.
Okay.
One-on-one speaking to them on the phone, number 2.
Yeah.
And maybe number 3, just play my healing DVD. It's up there free.
Please repeat that again because Facebook just came back on. Number 1 is what?
In person.
Yeah.
One-on-one at the churches where I'm speaking.
Okay, or centers.
Yeah. Number 2 is speaking with them directly on the phone.
Okay.
Number 3, play my healing DVD. And you don't need to buy it from me. You can play it on YouTube.
No
Just put Saul Shaye, search. The healing DVD is up there. And in the healing DVD, it just says, hi, I'm Dr. Saul Shaye. I'm a spiritual healer. If you have a lot of things you'd like healing for, try to focus on your top 3 things. The simpler you describe it, the better. Say it out loud. Then I start doing the healing.
So you don't even have to know their name. You don't even have to know their
They can play my healing DVD.
Wow. Where's that at?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's on.
Oh, it's on there free?
Yeah, someone put it up there.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what I was just hearing.
Yeah, someone
That's
put
amazing.
it up there. Someone put it up there, and when I went on YouTube, the person who put it up there said, yeah, He had the pleasure of getting a healing in person with Dr. Saul Shaye, and he said, I'm for real, and he made it available, which I'm thrilled. I don't know how to put it up there. So,
and if you're watching this program and you're watching it on a pre-recorded hour, go ahead and watch the credits at the end, because you also have your phone number on there for people to call you direct.
sure.
Wow.
And I'm speaking in Fort Wayne this week at Unity Church.
Yeah.
I'm speaking in South Bend at the Unity Church next week. And other than that, people can, if they don't see me at one of my lecture spots for healing, they could come see me in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Santa Fe, New Mexico.
That's my home base.
I'd love to come there. This time of the year, is it real hot?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but they can call you on your own personal phone
Yep.
line?
Yep.
Or is it answering 24-hour service or something?
24-hour answering.
Okay.
But I usually check the messages every day, 365 days a year, because to me it's fun.
Okay, so since I've last had you on my weekly TV Angels Talk Soul relationship, what has happened since then?
Well,
You made, back then you had the Little Book of Miracles. Did you recreate that book, or what happened?
no, the bigger Little Book of
big
Miracles is my new
bigger
book.
book?
Yeah, this has got 10 times as many stories as the Little Book of Miracles.
Oh,
And it's got a biography, because people always want to know, how did the healing start?
yeah.
And it's got a table of contents. So people can look up, tumors or pet healings, or transition healings, or depression, or career healings, or financial healings, teeth healings, skin healings,
Skin.
lungs, heart, circulation. If you got the gift of healing, God works in everything. So, I'm always amazed when a healer tells me they only work with one thing.
Oh.
It's like, if you got the gift of healing, why isn't it everything?
Right.
Because God's doing the work.
Right.
So there's a big difference, and sometimes I have to define it for people, between spiritual healing and energy healing.
Okay. How so?
Spiritual healing is energy work. Not all energy workers are spiritual healers. In other words, you can study an energy technique, doesn't mean you have the gift of healing. It might be therapeutic. Acupuncture is energy work. Doesn't mean you could raise Lazarus.
Okay.
Jesus raised Lazarus because he had the gift of spiritual healing. Spiritual healing, we don't really know the mechanism of how it works, because it can defy a lot of the physical laws as we know it. Whereas energy work might be therapeutic if you're able to utilize it properly. Like acupuncture is very therapeutic. A lot of people study different energy techniques, get a lot of responses. I always tell people, if you get great responses with your energy technique, you're probably a spiritual healer who studied that energy technique.
Wow. So would you say that you are a living role model for this, with your own personal life? You live it. Well, they say, they say walk your talk, just like, me with
Well,
this angel
I
stuff.
try to tell people that if I lecture on it, I do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Because
you initially were working to heal yourself as well.
Right. And like I said, when it comes to holistic health, I'm always trying to improve how I feel.
Yeah.
So I'm always tweaking my diet, tweaking how I detoxify. And I always tell people, you got something better, share with me. If I like it and it works for me, I'll share it in my lectures. I mean, just about 9 months ago, someone shared with me a book. They said, Doc, have you ever gone on a liver cleanse? I said, no, I never did that. So they gave me this book by Morenz. I read it, I liked it, I tried it, I liked the results. So now I've gone on 4 liver cleanses. And it's very, very easy to do.
Nice.
So, good.
Nice.
But yeah, as I learn things, I keeps on, adding it to my presentation. When someone, comes and says, I heard you speak 20 years ago. Wow, your presentation is very different now. I would hope so. Because I'm always learning.
So but the spiritual healing isn't always something that's measured then. I mean, for this one case that you said about somebody recommended the book on liver healing, you did that, so you do...
That was a holistic health lecture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just said, have you ever tried that? And I said, you present things to me, if I like it, I'll share it with people in my lectures. Now, the spiritual healing, it keeps on expanding.
Yeah, how so?
Well, there are certain things that initially I couldn't do. I don't know, a lot of people don't know what the word chakra means. That's the energy centers in people.
Yes.
And when I originally was checking animals, I never picked up on energy centers. Then one day I'm doing a healing on an animal and I pick up chakras. Now, I don't think they all of a sudden developed chakras.
Was it a particular animal?
No, it was all of a sudden I could sense it.
Okay.
So, one of the dreams said, in time you will work with all things, but you won't seek it out. When it is right, it'll be brought to you. So it's like being the parable of the wise steward. Right. If you show you're the wise steward, Spirit will give you more. So it keeps on expanding.
Interesting.
So,
validating. It answers a lot of my internal questions.
Just like when I'm scanning over a person,
yeah,
it keeps on getting faster and faster. It's much slower when I'm lecturing and explaining what I'm doing than actually doing it.
Do you think that's because, why?
It's becoming so automatic.
Oh.
The more I do it. But when I'm lecturing, I try to explain what it is I'm doing. That takes time. Mm-hmm. But like I said, it just keeps on speeding up.
I'm sitting here. I'm going to be vulnerable from now on. That's why I came back on to do these shows, to share this vulnerability. But there's one thing that I want to share with you within this show. Overnight, I got poisoned.
Poisoned how?
It's on my face.
Okay, well, don't use the word poison.
Okay, so what do I use?
Toxins.
Toxins.
Yeah. We're bombarded by toxins from our environment, from the water, from the air, household, appliances, chemicals, you name it.
Yeah.
Let me share with you something I shared with a lot of my audiences. Many, many years ago, I woke up with these welts on my arm that were super itchy.
Yeah, it's itchy.
Okay. I couldn't get rid of it, so I finally went to my MD.
Yeah.
All the tests were negative, so he gives me an antibiotic. Month goes by, I'm still waking up, super itchy. I thought they were spider bites. Go back a second time, still no answer, gives me a steroid cream. Still no response. So I said, okay. The skin is a reflection of the internal body.
Yeah.
I said, let me do some detoxing. So a very simple thing which I've used in my lectures, it's called the bentonite shake. And you use bentonite liquid, 6 tablespoons of bentonite liquid. You can get that at your health food store or online at VitaCost.
Okay.
6 tablespoons of bentonite liquid, 1 teaspoon psyllium husk powder, 12 ounces distilled water. You mix it. It's got no taste, so it's not bitter. Drink it. Another 8 ounces distilled water as a chaser. It's so absorbent of impurities in the intestines, you got to do it between meals.
Okay.
So I did it mid-morning, mid-afternoon. The third day I woke up, the welts were gone. So I started sharing that with people, and I said also, I thought, well, this is real cheap and inexpensive. Let me do it once a day, maybe 3 or 4 days a week. A couple of weeks go by, my belt gets loose.
So you lost weight too?
Well,
is this what you're saying?
So I drilled a hole in my belt. 2 weeks go by, my belt got loose, I drilled another hole. Anyway, for those who can see, I got about 7 extra notches in my belt.
You do?
What I realized, the bentonite shake was absorbing impurities around the intestinal tract, which is part of your waistline.
So are you inviting me to
I'm saying
try this?
I'm saying is the whole idea of holistic health is to make the body more efficient.
Yeah.
It's not necessary to help people lose weight or trim the size of their waistline. It's to get the body more efficient.
Okay.
So if the intestine is more efficient, you're more efficient about absorbing your nutrients and getting rid of your waste. The body, your immune system is 80% in the gut. So the whole concept of holistic health, we want to get your body functioning at its optimal. And that's what I try to empower people is give them information to get your body functioning better.
Well, quite frankly, I had a piece of steak last night, and it was very yummy, which I don't eat steak very often. But when I woke up in the middle of the night, and then I was like, what just happened? What is happening here? So I was like,
well, that's why I share with the audiences, detoxing and also the double E diet, which is also on Smashwords. It's the easy elimination diet, and it basically says if you can eat it, digest it, absorb it, and eliminate it easily, do it. If you can't, don't eat it. So people have to learn what their body is tolerating and what their body is not tolerating.
Yeah.
So, we're not carnivores, but
Right.
the bigger primates will eat meat products. It should be a very small percentage of your diet, probably less than 10%.
Well, as Edgar Casey said, all things in moderation.
Right, but the easy elimination diet says, remember, animal protein has no fiber. So if you eat that steak, make certain you have green vegetables with it. That's where you get your fiber. The trick with, elimination is keep it moving.
Keep moving.
Yeah, sometimes people say, oh, I had a 2-pound steak and I felt constipated for 3 days. There's no fiber in that.
You're right.
So you want to eat some meat products? Okay, have a small chopped steak. Have a big plate of cooked greens and a salad with it. It'll keep things moving. So you can digest and break down that animal protein, but keep it moving. So like I said, that's the whole key. Do your part.
Okay. Well, I was invited out for dinner, and it was wonderful that I was taking a break from everything that I do. So I said, yeah, I'll do it.
Well, probably another plug, because my favorite restaurant, which I went to right here in Fort Wayne, is Golden Corral. Oh. Because I know I can do food combining.
Oh, okay.
Which is what I've been doing now for 40 years. So it's my protein with the green vegetables, and I don't worry about calories.
I don't either.
I don't worry about the amount. I eat things that can be digested well together and maintains good elimination. And those rare times that I still want to go back and get dessert, fine. Keep it moving. When I get thirsty 3 or 4 hours later, I eat some fruit.
Let's talk about water then.
Yeah, 8 glasses of water a day is usually what's recommended.
8 glasses.
Now, when I go to on my workout days and I stay 4 or 5 hours, like yesterday, I had 140 ounces of water.
I'd be the first one to admit about myself. I don't drink that much water.
But like I said, I can do it during exercise days because I have my bottles with me.
It's easier.
I take a sip every other set. And I think I did about 150 sets, so that's 75 sips.
Wow.
So,
wow.
But yeah, even when I work with these pro athletes, and they'll say, you do some really crazy things for a guy your age.
Yeah.
Like for my 55th birthday for fun, I did 40,000 crunches in 24 hours. And believe it or not, it didn't hurt. And I wasn't even sore the next day.
Do you have abs of steel, may I ask?
No, but I used to win best abs.
Oh, you used to win.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I still have, definition in the abdominals, but nothing like it was 40 years ago. But everything changes.
Sounds like you love yourself just the way you are.
Well, you got to go with the flow.
Right.
Deal with the present. Do the best you can. You're not the person you was 40 years ago, but do the best you can with what you have now. I like striving for perfection. Even though I know I can't achieve it, I like striving for it. Do I expect others to do what I do? No, but I said I just think I need to be a role model.
So what is the number one question that people would call in a show like this for?
Well, for healing or for advice on holistic health?
For healing.
Yeah, the number one thing people call for healing is pain. So they have pain. It's very immobilizing. It's hard to enjoy life.
To manage their suffering or
so to minimize their pain.
Minimize, okay.
So whether it's arthritic pain, whether it's fibromyalgia pain, which is very debilitating, it's been very common that people will get back to me and say the pain is diminished or gone. And that's the number one thing people call for. Or say they have knee pain and they said they used to love walking and they can't walk because they got the knee pain. And I do some healing and all of a sudden they're able to walk without pain. So now they can do the first step by start getting more active.
Okay.
Or they say, well, their diet's terrible. And I say, okay, tomorrow eat an apple. What would that do? It's a start. I want you to start eating more fruit and vegetables in your diet. As primates, 80% of our diet should be fruit and vegetables.
And 90% of what they call about is a personal relationship with himself. Or is it 99% why people would
No, I
come to
said,
you?
no, the biggest thing is reducing pain.
Okay.
Actually, people calling for healing with emotional things, much less, probably less than 5% of the people I see. Maybe that 5%, it's, depression or anxiety or obsessive compulsive or relationship healing. They're having troubles with their significant other. And relationship healing just puts the relationship in God's hands for the highest and best for all concerned. Once again, we don't tell God the answer.
Wow. So that's like non-judgmental, being non-judgmental.
Yeah, and like I said, I've had to learn how to stay neutral. I said, I don't know enough to tell the
Wow.
Holy Spirit the answer.
We only have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
What I would like to do, I do remember reviewing the other TV Angels Talk Soul Relationships programs with you.
Okay.
And like I said, it was back in 2009. I invited you back. Little did I know you would be coming on my second show, Calling All Angels Hotline. But I would like to invite you to participate. I'm co-creating and unfolding a 12-episode special series. 2 are already finished. I would like you to come on to TV Angels Talk Soul Relationships with me and work with me personally.
Well, we just have to figure out how to do it. You know, 'cause, I mean, I travel,
Yeah.
and when I'm not...
Well, you said it only takes 25 minutes, right?
Oh, meaning to do a healing session?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Share that.
yeah.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever shared a healing session with somebody on television?
I think once.
One time.
One time.
I want you to know I'm vulnerable and I'm open, and I know that whatever I have, there is other people out there that have it too. And I am big on helping to be my part to share.
Well, even when I do my live presentations, sometimes we have extra time, and I'll say, is there someone who'd like me to work on them, who's open for me to discuss, for them to discuss what they'd like healing for?
Yeah.
And, when I scan over people, I don't see problems. So it's not that I'm going to give them information that's going to frighten them. Everything I work on is like a little energy system, like a battery. So I don't see tumors. I just see like an organ that's not fully charged.
Wow.
So, when they say, oh, I got terminal this, I don't see terminal.
That's like, I don't see how the show is going to unfold from start to finish.
Yeah,
It's
so,
just an unscripted
I mean, I can
television.
just share what it is I do and how I
Yeah.
do it. Now, how the healing works, I really don't know, even though I've given over 800 lectures.
Wow.
I can just say, this is what clairvoyants tell me they see, this is what I'm aware of, but most of it is happening with spirit being in control. I'm not in control. I'm just participating and saying, God, use me.
3 minutes left. Well, as I said, I ask my higher power, because I work with my higher power, who's going to be on the show. I ask for the Doctor of Divinity to come on to this show and help me with the mass consciousness healing. And that's even putting myself out there saying, God, this is yours.
Okay.
And then the third was going through that process of unfolding another show, half-hour show. Would you like to do that with me?
Sounds good to me.
It sounds good to you. And I want you to know I think very highly of your name, Saul. That's how it's pronounced, right? Saul.
It's
Saul.
Saul, just like Paul.
I see soul, though, in that. I see like you are the soul of the world.
Oh, soul.
Yeah.
Oh, I think. Well, like I
Isn't that
said,
cool?
because I grew up in a Jewish family, we had no trouble pronouncing Saul, like Saul of Tarsus,
Yeah.
who became Saint Paul,
Yeah.
or King Saul, first king of Israel.
Ah.
So it's a Jewish name.
Cool.
When Mom just opened the Bible, that's your name. That's your name.
Well, guess what? I think it is just about time to end the show. Would you help me finish? Do you remember how we finished the Angels Talk Soul Relationships?
No.
It goes like this. Jump in with all you want to do with divine love and holy kisses. How's that?
Okay.
It's my signature.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and end the show. I wish Facebook would just jump in here. Come on, reconnect. Shh. Thank you all again for taking your time to stop, look, and listen in our divine appointment here today. I'm Sandra. I'm here with the one, the only Dr. Saul Shaye. And we're both here to say divine love and holy kisses. We just send all that energy out to them, all that healing out to them.
You got it.
And so it is. Thank you again for taking your time to stop, look, and listen in our divine appointment here today. I'm here with the one and only Dr. Saul Shaye, and we're both here to say
Have a great day.
Divine love and holy kisses. See you on Angels Talk, Soul Relationship. Right?
Yep.
Yep. And so it is. We're all finished.